Found tied up in a suitcase on the side of the road, the fatal kidnapping of Valerie Reyes Part 2. This case was racked with more immediate drama when another one of the road workers who had discovered Valerie's body, a man called James Clifford, began being investigated for taking and sharing photos of the body and the crime scene that he'd taken with his phone. This photo showed Valerie still bound and with an obvious gash to the head, and was considered a clear breach of privacy, both for her and the investigation. The last thing Valerie's family needed at this time was to be exposed to gruesome shots of their loved one being casually aired around to everyone Clifford knew. However, one of these acquaintances he showed the photo to, a Connecticut business owner, then decided to show this picture to a media outlet, the Journal News, and tell them all about where he'd got it from. So James Clifford was investigated by his department, but he ended up not receiving any criminal convictions, and instead a few fairly light sanctions, including a brief suspension and being made to attend sensitivity training. Due to the fact this case took place in two different states, the FBI was quickly called in to help with the investigation. At 5 a.m. on January 29, a few hours after Valerie was last seen, her debit card was used at a bank in New Rochelle to withdraw $1,000 from her account. The surveillance footage from in and around the bank was looked at, and showed a man wearing a black sweater and trousers and black Adidas trainers with white soles, and with his hood pulled up to hide his face. This man parked his car, a black Honda, opposite the bank, entered the building, withdrew the money from an ATM, then returned to the Honda and drove away. An hour and a half later, this Honda was spotted again on CCTV at a New Rochelle intersection, and the license plate was recorded. When police tracked down this license plate number, they found this Honda was registered to a car rental company in an area called Flushing, in Queens, New York City. This car had been rented from January 28 to the 29th, so only for around the time when Valerie disappeared. The person it was officially rented to was quickly ruled out, but he was not the only person who could have driven it. Customers could add other authorized drivers to their account in a kind of car-sharing scheme. And one of these authorized drivers for this Honda was a man called Javier da Silva Rojas. R/True Crime, found tied up in a suitcase on the side of the road, the fatal kidnapping of Valerie Reyes. Javier and Valerie. When police had interviewed Valerie's friends and family, they had learned of the existence of a man named Javier, who Valerie had dated briefly in 2018, but who she'd broken up with almost a year before this case happened. Valerie and Javier had met through a dating website and gone out for 3 months, before Valerie ended their relationship in April 2018. As was previously mentioned, this was almost a year before Valerie's death, so this Javier did not strike police as an immediate person of interest in the same way that her more recent ex had. But now, when police were looking up the full name of Javier da Silva Rojas online, and finding his social media accounts, they discovered his profile picture exactly matched a drawing that had been found in Valerie's apartment, confirming that he was indeed Valerie's ex-boyfriend. But why was her ex of almost a year using Valerie's bank card to withdraw her money in the middle of the night, a few hours after she was last seen? Javier's address was registered at a condo in Flushing, and police went to check it out on CCTV. They saw that on January 28 at 10:50 p.m., Javier had left his condo wearing the exact same outfit, all black, with the same trainers and hood that the man on CCTV using Valerie's bank card had worn, confirming that it was most likely him on the tape. Then the next day, at 9:45 a.m., Javier returned to his condo, but this time he was wearing a long tan-colored coat and was carrying a duffel bag. Several minutes later he left home again, this time without the duffel bag. So Javier had not been at home at the time when Valerie was attacked. He could be identified as having used her bank card, hours before she was even known to be missing, and he had returned home in a different outfit, suggesting he'd got rid of the clothes he had been wearing a few hours previously. All of this was clearly suspicious. On February 6, the day after Valerie's body had been discovered, Javier went back to the car rental company in Flushing, and rented out the same Honda as he'd used before. Google location data showed a large cluster of Wi-Fi hits on Javier's phone at a car wash in the Bronx. So he rehired this Honda, had it thoroughly and professionally cleaned, and then returned it to the rental company later the same day. Why would anyone pay to rent out a car, then pay to have it cleaned, when it's not their car and they're just going to return it a few hours later? The obvious answer is to get rid of any evidence that might be in that car. Again, very suspicious but still not irrefutable evidence that Javier was responsible for Valerie's death.